Welcome to the Fantasy Football Profit Podcast, hosted by Craig Phillips and Jeff Torrey. Visit us at fantasyfootballprofit.com. And now your hosts, Craig and Jeff.
Welcome everyone to the Fantasy Football Profit Podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, joined as always by Jeff Torrey. And as we continue to go into the off season further and further, we're just going to keep talking ranks already for 2019. Because shoot, what else is there to talk about right now, Jeff? Nothing. I have there's no major news going on, so it's this dead period. I mean, you got Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell stuff, but do you hear that news report that Le'Veon Bell might have ballooned up to 260 pounds? Yeah, so that's interesting. So, I mean, maybe he'll drop in the ranks if he's out of shape, but that's about it. There's no real new news, so we're just gonna talk some QB ranks here. Mainly, we'll go over the ranks I posted on Instagram about a week or so ago and some of the comments we got there, see what people are thinking. But actually, before that, we did get a question in, Jeff. We have a listener question from Richard. So he's looking he wants us to let him know if these two people are good keepers for him. So he says he can keep two players past the 7th round in his draft. So he would lose his 8th round pick and his 9th round pick by keeping Kenny Golladay, Sony Michel. Would you do it?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Of course, right?
Yeah, Anthony, now 9th round pick is relatively low, obviously, and I think we both agree here. I don't think I'm stepping out of bounds. As we think Golladay is the real deal. We think that he is going to be in line for a major jump. He already flashed a lot of talent. And then Sony Michel's in a great situation. If that guy stays healthy, he's going to be a very productive running back as well. So I think those are two wonderful keepers, especially at where you have to keep them at.
Yeah, I think there's pretty relatively low risk on Michel even there anyway in the 9th. Golladay, there's no risk here, 8th and 9th rounds. Get that kind of talent. So I think you're in a good shape. He also, though, said, he picks 12th in the first round. So his early plan is to go running back 1st round, wide receiver 2nd round. So basically just get, running back, wide receiver there at the turn. And he just wants to know if that's something, if that's a good game plan for him. And I think, I think it is, but you just don't know who's going to be there. You can't say that for sure because you don't. What if all of a sudden there's a running back falls and you can get just two, ridiculously talented guys there at running back? You have to go running back at that point. But I think there's so many good running backs that you could go running back, wide receiver, and then still get a really good one in the 3rd. But then again, if you're picking 12th here, so you're 12th and 1st of the 2nd, then you're picking the very tail end of the 3rd. So that might be a little more risky. I don't know. What are you thinking there?
Yeah, I think overall it's a solid strategy. Okay, so you're going to keep Golladay, you're going to keep Sony Michel, and then if you got one more of each position, you're guaranteeing yourself to have two really high quality, guys in each of those key positions, right? And really the last thing you want to do is overhype either a QB or a tight end. If you two amazing wide receivers drop to you or two amazing running backs, by all means pick them up and you won't have to look back. But yeah, I think I kind of go along with you. I think if you get running back, wide receiver, you're set, you're good. But to your point, don't have it in your head, I have to pick one, I have to pick the other. If you have two guys that for some reason Todd Gurley is falling because everyone falls off, that won't happen. I won't think, 12 rounds or 12 picks at least. But if something like that happens, then yeah, by all means, capitalize on everyone else's mistake. But overall, I think with the amount of running backs, the amount of wide receivers, it seems more than likely that is what it's going to turn out to be. One of each.
Yep. All right. How about we talk about some QB ranks? So I only ranked the top 10 so far. I haven't done full ranks, but I did rank the top 10 and put them on Instagram. And I guess first I should just tell off some of my ranks here and then see what people have said. So I put Mahomes number 1. No argument there, right? You can't not have him number 1, I would say.
Yeah, he should, after last season, he should absolutely be the number 1.
I put Rodgers number 2, Andrew Luck number 3. I like Deshaun Watson at 4, Matt Ryan 5, Russell Wilson 6, Drew Brees 7, Cam Newton 8. That's obviously, as of right now, yeah, there's the rumor that maybe he doesn't play next year and completely rest his shoulder, but let's just say he's playing. He's 8th. Ben Roethlisberger 9, even with, this is, Roethlisberger I think was like 2nd last year, but this is, no Antonio Brown. It might drop off a little bit. And then I actually put Baker Mayfield 10, which I really do like Baker Mayfield quite a bit. So I threw him number 10. And, man, the comments are just crazy here, Jeff.
I kind of had that feeling. Do you get the... Well, I guess that would be the question. What do you get the most hate out of? Mayfield would be the
everything?
One that I would go
that
to
one,
immediately.
That one had little talk.
Really?
Mayfield had very little talk.
What?
I thought that would...
Yeah, what about this drove people crazy then?
Let's see. This list is terrible. Rodgers isn't elite anymore, and he barely was to begin with.
Well, I don't understand how quickly people turn on really unbelievable players. I mean, we just had an entire podcast about how people are once again doubting Gurley because of one performance in the playoffs where he was clearly
when he was hurt.
Yeah. Now we have Rodgers, who, I mean, depending on your rules for your point system, but more than likely he was a top 10 quarterback when he had one wide receiver to throw to for the most part.
He finished about 4th.
Yeah. And so right there, I'm not going to take away his elite status by any means. And on top of that, you look at that what he has done in the past. I mean, just for once, if someone is saying, "Hey, I think that he's starting to lose it, and I think he'll be overvalued," once again, that's one thing. I don't agree with it, but at least okay, you're going to go with age. You're going to say that their offense, they're not going to get anyone else. He doesn't have enough weapons, whatever you pile onto that. But to think for one moment that this guy was never elite or was barely elite, let me say this. I just pulled up the numbers real quick because this bugs me.
He might be one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
Exactly. This bugs me to no end. So he started... actually starting for the Packers in 2008. In, 11 years, he has been outside of the top 10, I'm sorry, I'll just say top 7 twice. And that is when he was hurt both years. He only played 9 games, he only played 7 games. Last year was his second worst finish if you take out those injuries, with 6th. Overall in the QBs, as far as this, this is standard scoring. The other bad year, if you would call it that, he was ranked 7th at QB in 2015. Other than that, he was either 1st or 2nd every single time.
I mean, he threw for over 4,400 yards, 25 touchdowns, and 2 picks. That's really, really good. Really good.
Yeah, it is. And think about who he's doing it with as well. I know everyone got really hyped up about Jimmy Graham, and he's a good player, but once again, we kind of said, hey, maybe back off of him just a little bit. He'll be fine, but you have Devontae Adams, and then Geronimo Allison goes down, and Cobb is just not the same player, and then you're trying to rely on 3 different rookies. Like, he really only had Devontae Adams, and he still made the most delicious lemonade out of those lemons. Like, however you want to put it, whatever dumb cliche you want to say, he is one of the greatest QBs of all time, and even more so, he might be just the best fantasy quarterback ever to play the game.
Yeah, he just is. I could not believe that comment specifically. And there's another one. It was basically saying, how is Rodgers number 2? It says, how is Rodgers number 2? He didn't do much this year. He just had a good touchdown to interception ratio. He only threw 25 touchdown passes.
I mean, what? I don't know what else
and
you want.
I actually somebody else made a comment here. It looks like, oh yeah, here it is. Where do you think he should be? And the guy responded, 9th or 10th.
Nah, get out of here. No way. I mean, really, there is only one player that really just completely blew him out of the water, and that was Patrick Mahomes, and he blew everyone out of the water.
Yep.
Other than that, according to, and we'll just say Fantasy Pros, because once again, it'll go up and down, but according to that, he actually was ranked 4th, and he was only, 16 points behind number 2, who is Big Ben, who has every weapon in the book.
So if he just had, think about what Rodgers did last year, and if he just threw in the 30s for touchdowns, which is pretty normal for him, he's easily the number 2 quarterback.
Easily. And only number 2 to Patrick Mahomes, who broke, like, every freaking record that there is. Like,
I mean,
he was just an anomaly, and hopefully he'll continue being an anomaly. But yeah, that it's just crazy to think that he's going to fall off. Like, depending whether or not you want to value him at number 2 and spend the money, the draft dollars, the pick in order to get him, that's the question. The question is not whether or not he's still good.
Another person wrote here, dude is right, man. This list is whack. Rodgers should be lower. He played really bad the last 2 years.
Well, 2017, we already went over this, but he only played 7 games.
Yeah, he was good, though. He's pretty good. Wasn't bad.
No. Yeah, no, he wasn't bad. And he wasn't bad last year. He just wasn't the standout everyone remembers, because literally, as we can say, 7 out of the 11 years, he has been 1 or 2 in the QB race.
Yep. Just, I don't know. Oh, great. Here's another one. Not about Rodgers. Let's move on. It says, no way you have Matt Ryan and Deshaun Watson over Russell Wilson. What a joke.
Well, last year they both finished ahead of him, I believe, right?
Yes, they did, actually.
Yeah. So
pretty sure, let's see here. Matt Ryan finished 3rd, Deshaun Watson finished 5th, and Russell Wilson finished 8th.
Yeah, and really, I mean, not the only reason, I think Russell Wilson, he's number 6, right? So it's not anything crazy, but Luck and Watson, the biggest knock against them was that they were both hurt. Luck was always going to be up here if he was healthy. When he has always been good. And Watson, we saw a very limited amount of time, and last year he didn't put up those fireworks that he did in the first 7 games or whatever he did in 2017, but he played really well, and he played with a lot of injured wide receivers, and he still has DeAndre Hopkins, so why wouldn't he be up here? He finished 5th last year.
Yeah. I'm really not like just picking and choosing the bad comments. It's just I'm picking and choosing just the comments. It's just this is what we got. It's crazy what comes out in the offseason here. So I mean, okay, this next one. I mean, this one I'm not going to say is like this guy's crazy, because it's not. I get it. He says ain't no way I take Mayfield over Brady, Wentz, Goff, Cousins, or Rivers. I get that.
Yeah, that's a legitimate one. And
but I will say this. Over the second half of last season, if you just take the second half after Mayfield, he started a little bit, finally got, going a little bit. So let's just start week 9, second half of the year here. Baker Mayfield averaged 18.7 points per game during the second half of the season. So 18.7. Goff 17.3. Rivers 16.5. Cousins 15.4. Brady 15.1. Wentz 14.7. So
yeah. I mean,
Mayfield was better than all of them over the second half of last season. So
yeah, I mean,
it's just.
I think
I'm not saying maybe he won't be better than them. Very well, those guys. Any one of those guys can be better than him easily. But he was really good. He was becoming a very good quarterback there towards the end. So it's not crazy, but it's not crazy to put him at 10 either. I don't think.
No, I think when you hit 10th, I think it does open up, and that guy was absolutely correct in who he was naming. Those are definitely guys that are going to be on my radar. But I do have, and I have doubts about Mayfield too. Don't get me wrong, but that's why it's opened up, right? Wentz, I was really thinking that he was going to return to form. He just wasn't the same quarterback quite yet. Brady really struggled during the regular season. I think that running game is going to be as good as it was the second half, so I don't think he's going to have to throw quite as much, which, obviously shows because he was ranked 13th last year. But yeah, Rivers is always solid. Obviously, he has a lot of weapons there, And then you also have someone like, Jared Goff actually did very well as well. And then you have Kirk Cousins, who underachieved like crazy and was still 12th. So and Trubisky too. Like, there are a lot of quarterbacks after you get to that position. But Mayfield, to your point, does look very promising. And they are definitely showing that they're going to put every weapon that they can get their hands on to help him out. You have Njoku, who is definitely going to continue getting better. It looks like he was. Jarvis Landry, who is a very good wide receiver. Hopefully they'll find someone else, but they already added Kareem Hunt, however you feel about that. And then obviously you have Nick Chubb as well. So all of that should help him take that next step. So could he be 10th? Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you take Wentz or Tom Brady, and could they be 10th? 100%. So I give you a lot of credit for putting Mayfield up there, but the guy that made that comment it definitely has a lot of truth there.
Yep, I'm fine with him.
Yeah.
This other next comment says, Tom Brady didn't make the list. Are you guys smoking crack?
I love Tom Brady, but he just didn't look particularly good in the regular season.
I mean, he has finished outside of the top 10 2 of the last 3 years. I mean, he's good. He's really good. I just don't know if that translates to fantasy quite yet. I mean, you don't know year by year what they're going to do on offense. They become a running attack all of a sudden like they did this year and don't pass as much. They could do it again next year. So I just don't know if he's going to finish top 10. He's going to be 42 years old next year.
Yeah, he's
crazy.
You have to think of age at some point, and I know he won the Super Bowl, and heavens no, he very well could be the GOAT. But at some point you have to believe that New England is smart enough not to put him in harm's way, because when it comes to playoff time, he's magic. But you don't need him to win every single regular season game. They just aren't in that, business anymore. They'll win 12 games with him finishing 13th in fantasy. And that is fine.
Another comment says, no Rivers or Goff? You must have forgotten to take your psych meds this morning.
Yeah, that's a very interesting one. How do you feel? Because you're naming 2 guys that definitely have had
They're borderline top 10 guys, right? Though. That's what they are.
And Goff started off very hot and then finished very poorly. So what is your outlook on Goff, assuming that he gets his weapons back at full health?
I think I still like him. I have him. I would probably put him about 11th or 12th right now, probably 11th even, just outside my top 10. So he's perfectly fine. Just he wasn't great towards the end of the year. He only finished as the 9th best quarterback last year, and that's with a really good start. And he would have been probably further down if, let's say, like Trubisky didn't get hurt for a few games there, or even maybe if Baker Mayfield would have played a full season. So he could drop down a little bit, but he's fine. But I don't think to have him outside of the top 10, I don't think it's some kind of travesty. I think it's just normal. He could be anywhere there, and even the Rivers one. Rivers is always that guy we talk about. He's going to be sneaky. He's always right outside the top 10. You can draft him there, and he's pretty decent. But he has only finished inside the top 10 once in the past 5 years.
Yeah, he's always a good value pick because he is always around there.
Yeah, and it's pretty much he's solid, but that's where he is. He's ranked about where he should be, which I'd probably have him after Goff. In that, I don't know which range, somewhere 12 to 15. He's in there somewhere. I don't know exactly yet, because I'd probably pick Brady over him. Yeah, and there's a lot of quarterbacks. There really is in that range. A lot of guys that are just the same to me. There's just not much difference. Oh, here's another one. This person says, I would take Drew Brees out of the rankings and put Jared Goff in. So, Brees or Goff? Again, I don't think it's that crazy. I think I'm actually more surprised with the people that, or they get mad at me for having Brees too low, or but he's just, again, they run the ball a little bit more now.
Yeah, I think that is about where he should be. It's the same thing with Brady. Brees, once again, played really, really well. They do run the ball a lot. They have a lot of talent in the running back position. He finished 7th last year. He always finishes relatively high. He should be in the top 10, but I don't think he should be any higher than this, and I think he could. Honestly, if you wanted to put like Newton above him, if I would be fine with that. If you wanted to kind of shift him around there, but he's done too well. He's so safe of a quarterback to have that I don't know. For me, it's almost impossible to completely take him out.
Yeah, this person did laugh at me for having Brees at 7, as in he should be much higher.
I mean, he might finish a little higher, but yeah, I don't. We're kind of when you get into this section, or when you're talking about Brees or Wilson, or even Matt Ryan, if he doesn't repeat what he did last year, which he did very, very well. I think you're splitting hairs on who's going to have a better year and whose team is going to be clicking at the time.
Honestly, it's almost for me after Mahomes, Rodgers, and even Andrew Luck, who I really like. I don't care, honestly, where you rank people. At this point, I have a feeling if I'm not going to get the 4th or 5th or 6th guy, I'm going to be drafting the guy around 10th, 11th, 12th, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I agree. And really, I think your top 4 are spot on. I think that's what they should be. And then I think after that, like I said, splitting hairs really, where whoever you like more, hey, you like the fact that Newton can run a little more, or you think they're going to go out and get another wide receiver. Baldwin's going to come back a little bit because he was doing it all himself. More power to you. But I think really from 5 to 8, interchangeable. And then you get to people that have some real question marks now. And you're talking about Roethlisberger, Mayfield, even Jared Goff, Tom Brady. So I think it's easier to think of it as tiers and not get hung up on, Brees is below Wilson kind of thing.
I mean, because then you have like a Lamar Jackson who, in his second year with his running ability, I mean, he's a safe quarterback with the running.
Yeah, there's a ton of really intriguing.
Jimmy Garoppolo coming back.
Yeah,
how good was Josh Allen actually fantasy wise? I'm not saying he was great as an actual quarterback, but fantasy wise, Josh Allen was really good.
Yeah, it was.
Josh Allen actually, he was really good fantasy and just. What I'm trying to see here.
He finished 25th by only playing 11 games.
Yes, his points per game was, better than that. And that's counting some games where probably didn't even play that much. So,
yeah.
And there's so many guys, but then here's like one of the last comments I have here. Somebody wrote is, where's Cousins? And he's nowhere near my list because he's terrible. So
yeah, Cousins is going to be
I'm done with Cousins.
I was going to say you had him this year, so he's kind of burnt that bridge. He's going to be one that I watch really closely because I think he will drop because of last year, but you have to love the weapons around him, and you have to think that last year finishing 12th was, I have to think that was a low point. I can't imagine him actually not being in the top 10, but he did it last year, so I don't blame you for not putting him in there. But
well, here we go. I'm gonna bring up here's the Fantasy Pros. We'll end this episode with this. So let's go over the Fantasy Pros ranks. Look, they're top 20-ish right now. So this is the expert ranks on Fantasy Pros. Let me see. They have, I don't know what the number is. They have quite a few people. 23 people have ranked them so far. So, and I am one of the 23. If you don't remember that, I'm a Fantasy Pros expert. I want to rub that in, Jeff. So we got, I'll just say, here's their ranks. Mahomes, Rodgers, Luck, Watson. No surprise. Russell Wilson's their 5th. Then Drew Brees, Matt Ryan. Cam Newton, they have at 8th. Maybe here's the first surprise who we haven't even brought up this episode. Jameis Winston, number 9. Bruce Arians is the coach. That's, he's getting a little bit of a bump from that, so it very well could be. I've always liked Jameis. I think he has it in him.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those where we penalize him because every year we put him in this discussion, and every year he disappoints us, mostly because he gets in trouble and then he can't play a full season.
Yep.
So, yeah, he definitely could be up here.
Then you got Jared Goff, 10, Roethlisberger, 11, Baker Mayfield's 12th, Phillip Rivers, Carson Wentz, Mitch Trubisky's 15th, Lamar Jackson's 16th, Dak Prescott 17th.
Oh, man. Notice who they haven't said yet.
Tom Brady is 18th.
Oof.
Kirk Cousins is 19th.
Oh, my gosh, really?
Yeah. Jimmy Garoppolo is 20th. Then you go Josh Allen 21st, Matt Stafford's 22nd. The days of drafting him as that your safe quarterback later on in the draft I'm done with that. There's no safety there. And then you go Sam Darnold, Marcus Mariota. Andy, you're done with Mariota, right?
Oh man, yeah, I have been, but that is a man to fall behind Darnold.
Yep. Then Andy Dalton, Derek Carr. Derek Carr, remember 2 years ago we were having like Derek Carr debates of the top 10?
Oh my gosh. How fall can
Eli, Josh Rosen, Ryan Tannehill. There's still then Case Keenum, Joe Flacco. They haven't updated ranks yet. Obviously Flacco's going to jump ahead of Keenum. Then Blake Bortles is down there yet. And still I guess we don't really know there's no Washington quarterback in the top 32 because Alex Smith, I doubt he's going to play, and no one really knows who the quarterback's going to be then, I guess.
Yeah,
that's
that'll be an interesting one.
Brady down at 18, Cousins down at 19. Pretty low.
It is, but it also shows me that I literally do not have to pay for quarterback.
No, because then you think about the guys ahead of him, and you're like, yeah, I get it. They probably, I get why they're ahead of him. Maybe I wouldn't pick them ahead of them, but even maybe I will. I don't know. It just shows you there's 20 quarterbacks right there you can pick.
Yeah.
There really is. Garoppolo at 20. You know, he could be good. It's crazy. There's a lot of quarterbacks, it feels like, next year. There's a pretty decent amount of running backs, more than normal. And, there's those two positions will be pretty good. I'm not wide receiver, I think, gets a little thin, actually, for me, for like sure things. And then tight end is terrible. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting year. And then, I forgot to, from the beginning of the show, Richard, his question, this last comment there was also, will you guys be doing some mock drafts soon? So, I guess there's some, wanting of mock drafts out there for us. Maybe we'll hit up a couple of those in the upcoming weeks as we wait for free agency, which is kind of hard to do before where like Antonio Brown's going to go, Le'Veon Bell's going to go, where the rookies are. It's a little more difficult, but we can try one of those.
Yeah, it's very early to do a mock draft, but know what, Richard, for you, buddy?
And then, maybe next week we'll talk tight end rankings. I'm going to post some tight end rankings on Instagram here, maybe possibly tomorrow, somewhere in there. So if you guys see that, go to our Instagram page, instagram.com/fantasyfootballprofit, and just leave me your comments, which is typically going to be bad. And I don't know do you think they can pick apart tight end rankings?
Well, yeah, because what are you going to do? Put a top 5? If you put top 10, it could go any which way. So.
I'm going to at least put top 10. I might go 15. Can you rank 15 tight ends?
I could, but it gets real ugly after number 8.
I don't know. People are going to... are they going to argue over when I put Travis Kelce number 1, Zach Ertz number 2, George Kittle number 3? Like, those have to be the top 3, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think that should really be a question.
They might, though. We'll see.
I think I would actually put Kittle above.
I could see that.
Yeah, I think I might do that.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm actually okay with that.
I think I might do that. But it'll be interesting for like 4 through 7, where you have like Hunter Henry, OJ Howard, possibly like a Njoku, or I don't know, like if you want to put Jared Cook up there. But there's some interesting guys.
Derek Ebron's probably 37th.
Yeah, exactly. That'll be the one that you get in trouble for sure.
Well, he's currently 6th.
Yeah, I already know that people are going to be angry about that.
Well, we'll see. Maybe he'll be my number 1.
That is very unlikely.
But all right, that'll do it for QB Talk. We'll be back next week. See you guys.